Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. It's time. It is time for the first ever NASCAR Cup Series Chicago Street Race preview. The Grant Park 220, 220 miles, 100 laps around the downtown Chicago. 3 stages, 30, 30, and 40. We know no stage breaks, so we won't be stopping with caution. We'll just get stage points. I don't like it, but I understand it. I understand road courses are a little bit longer. It takes a little bit longer to get the stage breaks out of the way. I understand the strategy part of it. People don't like it because they used to back in the day. I still don't think we are back in the day with it, which I hate that freaking term, but whatever. I don't think we're like we used to be prior to stage racing, because you still have drivers wanting stage points. You still have drivers don't care about stage points. So, you know, some tracks you see people, pitting ahead of the stage. Like at Coda, the end of stage one. The end of stage one was on a restart. So it was like you're crossing the start finish line, giving out points. I'm like, what the hell is this? But you know what? It is what it is. All right, how do you preview a street course that's never happened in the 75 years of NASCAR history? Well, look at road courses, left-right turns. Obviously, there's differences, but it's the closest thing we have. Now, when it comes to figuring out what's going to happen in this race, we have nothing to compare that to. Good, bad, or indifferent for this race, Xfinity and Cup, we have zero to compare it to. What I've recommended people do, I said this on XM Satellite Radio, Channel 90, NASCAR. I told people, go watch the Streets of Long Beach Grand Prix, the IMSA and the IndyCar. Go watch the IndyCar race from Detroit. Compare it to that. Because that's street racing. Yes, different vehicles, but that's street racing. Just like with the Xfinity race today and the Cup race tomorrow, you can kind of compare the two a little bit. But again, the machines are different. Even with the IndyCar and IMSA, they're different, but it's still street racing. You can't compare it to Richmond. You can't compare it to North Wilkesboro, Martinsville, Watkins Glen. Nah, you can't compare it to nothing. Now, through practice and qualifying for the Xfinity Series, I got what I was expecting. I mean, that's the thing. My expectations weren't Crash Fest. My expectations weren't, oh my God, this is going to be horrible, the worst thing NASCAR's ever done. No, it's going to be okay. Let's just drama and excitement. As Chucklemeyer says on Trading Paint every day, he's the excitement and drama guy, and I want to be entertained. I was entertained because it was new. We've never seen it. I got the drama because we're racing on the streets. I love how the commentators doing it radio style with NBC with Mike Bagley on there. That's awesome. See Bags on TV with Junior, Jeff Burton. Is you get that, each driver, each commentator puts their spin on it. You get well, this is the speed limit. This is what they're going. So you get that, these are the streets. These are literally the streets. You can go walk across the street here. All right, so we're going to look at road courses this year with Sonoma and Coda. Road courses last year. All-time road courses. So we had some different categories here. Got 5 categories total. Got my picks, and I got my fantasy lineup for NASCAR Fantasy Live. So this year on the 2 races at Coda and Sonoma, Kyle Busch, average finish 2.0. Second place in both of them. Who knew Kyle's a road racer? Chase Elliott was 5th at Sonoma. He did not go to Coda. We all know he was still injured. Chris Buescher, 6.0. Ross Chastain, 7.0. Alex Bowman, 9.0. Martin Truex Jr., 9.0 and a win. Michael McDowell, 9.5. William Byron, 9.5. Ricky Stenhouse, 9.5 average finish. Kyle Larson, 11.0. Tyler Reddick, 17.0 and a win. Now, the 6 road course races last year in the Next Gen car, we had Chase Elliott 9.0 average finish, Chris Buescher 9.0, Austin Cindric 9.3, Tyler Reddick 9.5 and 2 wins, Michael McDowell 10.8, Christopher Bell 11.5 and a win, Kevin Harvick 12.0, the Dinger AJ Allmendinger 12.3, Alex Bowman 15.2, Justin Haley 15.5, Ross Chastain 16.1 and a win, Daniel Suarez 16.5 and a win, Kyle Larson 19.6 and a win. Now, the total of 8 road courses in the Next Gen car, so live 2022 and 2023. Chris Buescher 8.25 average finish, he is the best, followed by Chase Elliott 8.4, Michael McDowell 10.5. Note, Chase Elliott has not won a road course race in the next gen era. Michael McDowell, 10.5. Austin Cindric, 10.8. Tyler Reddick, 11.3, and 3 wins in the next gen era. I think Tyler Reddick is the new road course king. Kevin Harvick, 12.0. Alex Bowman, 13.4. Christopher Bell, 13.6. Ross Chastain, 13.8 and a win. AJ Allmendinger, 14.2. William Byron, 15.6. And Martin Truex Jr., 15.6 and a win. Literally right behind the camera is the pre-race for the pre-show for the practice. So they're showing everybody getting in their cars for the first round of practice, which is kind of cool. Alright, so that's all the next gen era stuff. Now I'm going to look at the 17 road course races since 2020. Chase Elliott, 6.5 and 4 wins. Chris Buescher, 10.6. There's that name again, Chris Buescher. Kyle Larson, 12.9 and 4 wins. Alex Bowman, 13.1. Tyler Reddick, 13.4 and 3 wins. Joey Logano, 13.6. Martin Truex Jr., 14.2 and a win. Denny Hamlin, 14.4. Austin Cindric, 14.5. AJ Allmendinger, 14.9 and a win. Ross Chastain, 15.5 and a win. Now the active drivers, leaders on road courses. So these are just active drivers since their career in NASCAR Cup Series. Chase Elliott, 7 wins, 8.0 average finish. Tyler Reddick, 13.4 and 3 wins. Kevin Harvick, 13.5 and 2 wins. Martin Truex Jr., 14.1 and 5 wins. Kyle Larson, 14.4 and 4 wins. Chris Buescher, 14.4. Joey Logano, 14.5 and a win. Austin Cindric, 14.5. Ryan Blaney, 14.7 with a win. And Kyle Busch, 14.8 with 4 wins. Oh, this track is just craziness. Especially that Bagley will be covering 2 turns, so will Moody on XM Satellite Radio for MRN. He'll be covering the same 2 turns as Bagley. They're on like dueling scissor lifts in that corner. Sorry, they're just going through the course now for the practice and stuff, and kind of. In fact, I'm gonna pause this and watch this. All right, yeah, that was really interesting. You gotta listen to them talk about the track and show all that. All right, so for the Fantasy Live game, you know what? I'm actually going to make a change on this right now based on some things I've been saying here, and I have to go update. I'm going to change on the fly. Every time I change on the fly, I screw it up, but we're going to try it. So Fantasy Live, I'm doing Chase Elliott because he is one of the road course kings. Now remember, he won the first ever road course at COTA. He won the first ever road course at Road America. Kyle Larson. The dude drives every type of vehicle there is on every type of track there is. So if he can't adapt to this track, there's something wrong with it. Austin Cindric. From what he's done stuff in IndyCar when his dad is the top strategist for Penske. He's racing Formula cars on street courses. So I think he's one of those guys that you've got to definitely keep an eye on. Of course, AJ Allmendinger. We all know the dinger. Everyone's picking the dinger here. And then I'm going with Joey Logano. Joey Logano, he has a knack for winning first. He won the first ever race at Coliseum. He won the first ever Bristol dirt race. Not even the dirt guy. He won the Bristol dirt race. He won the first race at Gateway Worldwide Technology. Now, I'll note with that, when they come next year, because they've already announced and more than likely will be back, Steve Burns was talking about it, and Dave Burns was talking about it, and he said that they already have tickets on sale for next year. So it's a 3-year deal. It was first year, then the option for the second 2 years, so it looks like we're coming back, which I'm all in. I mean, honestly, people are going to hate this. I would like to see 2 street races, possibly 3. I put this on Twitter the other day. 3 street races, 3 dirt races, 6 road course races, and then the rest ovals. So what is that? 12 races, and then so 12, 28 ovals, which would be 40 race schedule. If you check out the Fantasy with the international twist that I've done in fantasy booking for schedule, it has 40 races on it, and there is a street race on there as well, and a dirt race. So I got Joey Logano, and then in the garage, my garage pick for Fantasy Live is Chris Buescher. If you're new to NASCAR Fantasy Live, it is basically a weekly fantasy game. You can use one driver up to 10 times during the regular season, one driver up to 5 times during the 10 race playoffs. So you have to kind of manage that. Like right now, you go in, you pick your lineup. So I'm picking my 5, which would be Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, Austin Cindric, AJ Allmendinger, Joey Logano. And then I'll put Chris Buescher in the garage. So by the end of stage 2, before the end of stage 2, you have to decide, am I using my garage pick or not? So what you would do is whoever's in your garage, for me it's Chris Buescher. So say Austin Cindric is lower in the race, and he's a couple laps down, and Chris Buescher is second. I'll put Chris Buescher in my lineup, and so my points would update based on him in my lineup over an Austin Cindric or over Kyle Larson. So that gives you a chance if one of your 5 main guys has an issue, you get that garage pick. If you don't, you just lose those. You don't gain those points. You just get whatever points is in your lineup, which I've done before. Bagley's talked about it on TMD because I'm actually in the TMD league. I'm in like 5 different fantasy leagues, but TMD is kind of my primary one I go with. And Bagley said it before he's forgot to take his garage pick out, which I've done too multiple times. All right, points. We are 9 races left in the regular season. Chicago Street Race, that's a wild card. Atlanta, that's a wild card. New Hampshire, Pocono, Richmond, Michigan. Then we end the regular season, to me, with 3 wild cards, with the Indy Road Course, Watkins Glen, and then Daytona. So we have 5 what we would consider almost wild cards because you don't know who's going to win those. Anything can happen at any of those tracks. We've seen that over the history of them. So first minute into qualifying, we have Kyle Larson at the top of the board. Who would have thunk? All right, so we got Willie B with 3 wins. Now remember, he had a 60-point penalty, and that could actually cost him the regular season championship. And that regular season championship, first to second, is 5 bonus points difference. So whoever wins the regular season championship gets 15 bonus points. Those are the playoff points you carry throughout the playoff. Whoever finished second gets 10. So because William Byron had that greenhouse penalty earlier in the year, he could lose the regular. That's 5 bonus points, and that 5 points can cost him moving between rounds. Kyle Busch, 3 wins. Then we have Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Larson, each with 2 wins. Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin, he had a 25-point penalty. Remember, the 25-point penalty was for him going on his podcast and actions detrimental, and basically having actions detrimental to NASCAR got penalized for, quote, let go in the Whelen, taking him with me. Remember, Denny was having on old tires. He knew he was probably going to go to the back. And Ross was on his outside. He's going to the corner. He just let go, so the car went up, took in a Ross Chastain, and both of them kind of fell to the back. He was fined 25 points for that, for intentionally wrecking, which you don't admit to it. I'm sorry you don't. We can have bumping. We can have drivers, quote, get payback. Just don't get on the radio and say, oh, I don't know. He does that again. I'm turning right. And then turn fucking right, like Sean Creed did. And his team says, dude, don't do that. They'll penalize the hell out of you. Don't do that. And he does it anyway. Ryan Blaney, Joe Logano, and Tyler Reddick and Ricky Stenhouse each with a win. 11 different winners. Last year at this time we had 13. We had 16 different winners in the regular season last year, if you remember correctly. But Kurt Busch unable to make the playoffs because of his concussion-like syndrome. So Ryan Blaney made the playoffs instead. Tyler Reddick had a 10-point penalty as well. Right now, 12th in points, based on the playoffs, is Kevin Harvick plus 164, Brad Keselowski plus 99, Chris Buescher plus 98, Bubba Wallace plus 30, Daniel Suarez plus 2. Now, there has been a lot of hatred on social media for, number 1, this road race, and number 2, for the Bubba Wallace block party. I have commented multiple times and gotten different back and forths with people over that. If you don't like Bubba Wallace, that's fine. But when you keep pushing that, oh, he's a this place driver, or he can't win, he can't do this, when he has 2 wins, and then when I mention his stats, well, his 2 wins were given to him. No, you don't get nothing in NASCAR. You have to earn it. If you remember, yes, Talladega was rain shortened. Jeff Gordon has 5 rain shortened wins. The King has 2 rain shortened wins. The Earnhardt Sr. has a rain shortened win. those still count the same as any other wins. At Kansas, he dominated. He had a 3-second lead at one point, and Denny was coming to him. Denny just ran out of time. And everybody said, well, Denny's his car on. Denny's not going to pass him. If Denny would have won that race, that's 5 bonus points. Denny would have been in the championship 4. So Denny cost himself a shot at running for a championship to let Bubba Wallace win a race. No, I don't think so, people. NASCAR doesn't work that way. Denny Hamlin has to drive his car for Joe Gibbs Racing for FedEx. 2311 says side hustle. So, and then you get people going, well, if NASCAR wouldn't have penalized Alex Bowman, he would. Yeah, Alex Bowman is -2 in the points right now. He lost 60 points. So that means if he would have had that 60 points back, he's plus 58 to the cut line. Bubba's still in the top 16 at that point. So NASCAR's not penalizing Hendrick Motorsports just to get Bubba Wallace in the playoffs. Again, it doesn't work that way. Ty Gibbs -10, AJ Allmendinger -24, Michael McDowell -27, Corey LaJoie and Austin Cindric both -51, Justin Haley -53, and unfortunately Ryan Preece -63. I interacted with a guy on Twitter yesterday, and like he even said, he's not a Bubba Wallace fan, but he's not a Bubba Wallace hater. You can do that. I'm not a Ryan Preece fan, but I don't go on social media and just bash him and say he's this, that, and the other. I don't feel like that Stuart Haas upgraded by putting Ryan Preece in the car over Cole Custer, in my opinion. But I'm not personally bashing Ryan Preece. The guy can drive. He's got 2 truck wins. He's got Xfinity wins. He can drive the holy hell out of a modified. But I don't like him. I don't like Kevin Harvick either. But I can respect what he's done in the sport. I don't like Stuart Haas. But I can respect what they've done in the sport. I'm a Josh Berry fan, so I will be rooting for the 4 car next year. But you can respectfully not like somebody without bashing them. If you have to post on social media, Bubba Wallace is a loser, Bubba Wallace can't do anything, and then when somebody comes back with the stats, better average finish in the last 36 races than Kyle Busch and Tyler Reddick, more top 5s in the last 6 races than anyone except for William Byron, and your response to that is, well, I'm not racist, I just don't like him. But if you have to use that word, you are. I'm sorry, you are. If you have to put down and just make fun of somebody to make yourself or make your point, yeah, no, you got a problem. But, alright, we got 38 minutes left in practice. 4 picks to win the first ever NASCAR Cup Series Chicago Street Race, the Grant Park 220. Chase Elliott, Joey Logano, AJ Allmendinger, Chris Buescher, just wrote that one down. I'm not going to say who I took off, because I'll look like an idiot when you don't win. This year I'm 5-8 in the Truck Series, 8-7 Xfinity, 4-15 in the Cup Series. Not great, but when you are picking 4 and there's good 20 to 30 people that can win a race, fun times are had. The Grand Park 220, can't wait to watch qualifying here in a few minutes, the rest of practice, and the races this weekend. And we have the WWE Money in the Bank starting in 12 minutes. We'll have that review up. We'll have the Best of Game Changer Wrestling 2023. So several videos coming this weekend, and hopefully this weekend or early next week, the driver profile of one Haley Diggin. As always, thanks for watching the Robert Sports Show, and don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content.